Welcome, my friends. In the tale of Derrick the Dice by B.G. Woolbridge, we see how one man's dice rolls can have far-reaching and terrifying results. Derrick the Dice is an information broker in Arkham, a peddler of knowledge and dark secrets. One of his tools are his dice, which have started to fail him. A dark and mysterious stranger visits, offering him a rare set of dice that may solve his issues. Things do not work out the way he had planned, and he is plunged into another world, trapped in an endless competition, with the prize being his soul. Can Derrick escape the clutches of the dread Nyarlathotep and his crawling chaos? Now come and sit, as it is time to enter the Cave of Chronicles. In the decaying town of Arkham, where the fog clung to the cobblestone streets like a shroud, there lived a man named Derrick. Derrick was an information broker, a man who dealt in secrets and whispers, trading knowledge for coin. His reputation was built on his uncanny ability to uncover the hidden truths of Arkham, a skill that had earned him the monkier Derrick the Dice. Derrick's office was a dimly lit room above a decrepit tavern, a place where the shadows seemed to move of their own accord. The walls were lined with shelves of ancient tomes and yellowed parchment, each containing fragments of forbidden knowledge. On his desk lay a pair of dice, worn and chipped from years of use. The dice were his tools, his means of divining the secrets that others sought. But Derrick's luck had begun to wane. Each roll of the dice seemed to bring him closer to ruin. The whispers that once guided him now spoke of doom and despair. He could feel the weight of unseen eyes upon him, watching his every move. The shadows in his office grew darker and the air grew colder. One night, as Derrick sat alone in his office, something felt different. Gingerly picking up the dice, he rolled double ones, snake eyes. He had rolled badly before, but something felt different this time. Collecting the dice, he braced himself as he prepared to roll again. Sat with the dice clutched in his trembling hand, he heard a voice. It was a low, guttural whisper, barely audible above the creaking of the floorboards.
Derrick,
It said,
you have failed the roll.
The voice sent a chill down Derrick's spine, and he felt a cold sweat break out on his forehead. He looked around the room, but saw nothing out of the ordinary. The shadows seemed to dance and flicker, but there was no one there. He shook his head, trying to clear his mind, but the voice echoed in his ears.
Derrick,
It whispered again.
you have failed the roll.
Derrick's hands trembled as he picked up the dice. He knew that he had to roll them again to try and change his fate. He took a deep breath and cast the dice onto the desk. They clattered and spun, finally coming to a stop. Derrick's heart pounded in his chest as he looked at the result. Again, the dice showed snake eyes. A sense of dread washed over Derrick. He knew that snake eyes were a bad omen, a sign of impending doom. He felt a cold breeze blow through the room, and the shadows seemed to grow darker. The voice whispered again.
You have failed the role, Derrick. The darkness is coming for you.
Derrick's mind raced as he tried to think of a way to escape his fate. He knew that he had to find out more about the voice and the darkness that it spoke of. He reached for one of the ancient tomes on his shelf, hoping to find some clue or answer. As he opened the book, a cloud of dust rose into the air, and the pages crackled with age. The book was filled with strange symbols and cryptic writings. Derrick's eyes scanned the pages, searching for anything that might help him. He found a passage that spoke of an ancient curse, one that could only be broken by a roll of the dice. The curse was said to be placed on those who sought forbidden knowledge, and it was brought with a darkness that consumed the soul. Derrick's heart sank as he realized that he was a victim of this curse. He had spent his life seeking out secrets and forbidden knowledge, and now it had come back to haunt him. The voice whispered again.
You cannot escape the darkness, Derrick. It is your fate.
The voice haunted Derrick's dreams, filling his nights with visions of eldritch horrors and unspeakable terrors. He awoke each morning, drenched in sweat, the dice still clutched in his hand. Desperation gnawed at his soul, driving him to seek answers in the darkest corners of Arkham. He consulted with scholars and mystics, delved into forbidden texts, and performed rituals that left him trembling with fear. But no matter what he did, the dice continued to fail him. Each roll brought him closer to the brink of madness. One evening, as the sun set behind the crumbling buildings of Arkham, Derrick received a visitor. The man was tall and gaunt, his eyes hidden beneath the brim of a wide-brimmed hat. He introduced himself as Mr. Blackwood, a collector of rare and unusual artifacts. "I have heard of your plight, Derrick," Mr. Blackwood said, his voice cold as the grave, "and I believe I can help you." Mr. Blackwood produced a small, ornate box from his coat and placed it on Derrick's desk. "Inside this box," he said, "are the true dice of fate. They are said to be cursed, but they hold the power to reveal the deepest secrets of the universe." Derrick hesitated, his hand hovering over the box. The whispers grew louder, urging him to take the dice. With a trembling hand, he opened the box and gazed upon the ancient, bone-white dice within. The dice were unlike any Derrick had ever seen. They were carved from some unknown material, their surfaces etched with strange, arcane symbols that seemed to writhe and shift in the dim light. As he picked them up, he felt a chill run through his body, as if the dice themselves were alive and aware of his presence. "These dice," Mr. Blackwood continued, "are said to be the very instruments of fate itself. They have the power to reveal the hidden truths of the universe, but they come with a terrible price. Those who use them must be prepared to face the consequences of their actions." Derrick's mind raced as he considered the implications of Mr. Blackwood's words. He had spent his life seeking out forbidden knowledge, and now he was being offered the chance to uncover the deepest secrets of the universe. But at what cost? With a sense of trepidation, Derrick decided to take the risk. He rolled the dice across his desk, watching as they tumbled and spun, finally coming to a stop. The symbols on the dice seemed to glow with otherworldly light, and Derrick felt a strange sensation wash over him, as if he were being pulled into another realm. As the room around him began to blur and fade, Derrick found himself standing in a vast, desolate landscape. The sky above was a swirling mass of dark clouds, and the ground beneath his feet was cracked and barren. In the distance, he could see the outlines of ancient, crumbling structures, their forms twisted and distorted by the passage of time. Derrick knew that he had entered a place beyond the boundaries of the known world, a realm where the laws of reality no longer held sway. He felt a sense of awe and dread as he realized that he was standing on the threshold of the unknown, a place where the secrets of the universe lay hidden. As he ventured deeper into this strange, otherworldly realm, Derrick encountered beings that defied description. They were creatures from nightmares, their forms shifting and changing with each passing moment. Some were monstrous and grotesque, while others were ethereal and beautiful. But all of them radiated an aura of malevolence that sent shivers down his spine. Despite his fear, Derrick pressed on, driven by his insatiable curiosity and desire for knowledge. He knew that the answers he sought lay somewhere within this realm, and he was determined to uncover them, no matter the cost. As he journeyed through the desolate landscape, Derrick came across a massive, ancient structure that seemed to pulse with a dark, otherworldly energy. The building was covered in strange symbols and runes, and Derrick could feel the power emanating from it, drawing him closer. With a sense of foreboding, Derrick entered the structure, his footsteps echoing through the vast, empty halls. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the walls seemed to close in around him as he ventured deeper into the heart of the building. In the center of the structure, Derrick found a massive, ornate chamber filled with ancient tomes and artifacts. The walls were lined with shelves that stretched up to the ceiling, each one of them filled with books and scrolls that contained the forbidden knowledge he had sought for so long. As he approached the center of the chamber, Derrick saw a pedestal upon which rested a single ancient tome. The book was bound in a leather-like material that seemed to shift and writhe and change under the dim light. Its pages were filled with strange arcane symbols that equally seemed to writhe and twist as he looked at them. With a sense of reverence, Derrick reached out and picked up the tome, feeling its weight in his hands. As he opened the book, he felt a surge of energy course through his body, and the symbols on the page seemed to come alive, dancing and shifting before his eyes. The knowledge contained within the tome was beyond anything Derrick had ever imagined. It spoke of ancient cosmic forces that shaped the universe, of beings that existed beyond the boundaries of reality, and of secrets that could unravel the very fabric of existence. As he delved deeper into the tome, Derrick began to feel his mind unravel. The knowledge he had sought for so long was now within his grasp, but it came at a terrible price. The more he learned, the more he felt his sanity slipping away, consumed by the dark, otherworldly forces that surrounded him. In the end, Derrick realized that he had made a terrible mistake. The knowledge he had sought was not meant for mortal minds, and the price of his curiosity was his very soul. As the darkness closed in around him, he heard the voice once more whispering in his ear.
You have failed the role, Derrick. The darkness is coming for you.
But I'll give you one final chance.
A different, dark, yet sibilant voice declared, as a vague but tall figure in the cast of an Egyptian pharaoh gradually manifested. Derrick found himself in a circle of people, at a table with a set of dice in front of him.
A little competition. The game is loser takes nothing. All but the loser get the knowledge they desire. You must play, each one with your dice. Each person is another chance. You have to win but once. You have failed the role, Derrick. If you lose them all, the knowledge is lost forever, and you will never win a role again.
Came the deep, sibilant, and terrible voice of Nyarlathotep. With a desperate cry, Derrick cast the dice, rolling again and again, hoping against hope each time that he could change his fate. Each time, the dice chattered and spun, finally coming to a stop. Snake eyes,
Derrick,
it whispered.
you have failed the role.
The faces came and went. Men and women of all ages and races, so many, Derrick lost track. All he remembered was the look of shock and horror each time the other person won. Each role was in a new location, a smoky speakeasy, an opium den, a hidden back room. They had but one thing in common, that of being places the lost and desperate went to hide and die. After immeasurable time and an innumerable number of roles, the sibilant voice spoke again.
This is your last chance, Derrick. You fail now. It is the end.
Trembling, Derrick made one last roll of the dice, his mind haunted by the looks on the faces of those that had won, going from delight to horror in an instant. The dice bounced on the table, turning over and over. Snake eyes, he had lost again.
You have failed the role, Derrick.
The dark voice said in ominous tones. Then the darkness consumed him. He came round in his office, covered in sweat. It appeared only seconds had passed, though he seemed to have been rolling dice for years. He looked at his desk. His dice were gone, as were the strange ones he had received from Blackwood. But Derrick, though he had lost the roll, had retained most of his sanity. He could remember little of the places he rolled, or the strange landscape and the knowledge it gave. Yet he still knew too much. The knowledge that he had glimpsed in that brief moment, though lost, had changed him forever. The world would never be the same again, for Derrick had seen the true nature of reality, and it was a vision that would haunt him for the rest of his days. He hunted for the others that he saw at the tables, and for those he traced, they had all disappeared on the fateful night he had rolled the dice. He would never forget the terrified look on each of their faces as they realised their game with him had condemned them to an eternity of horror, insanity and terror. In the days that followed, Derrick's office remained empty, the door locked and the windows shuttered. The townsfolk whispered of his disappearance, but none dared to investigate. The secrets of Arkham remained hidden, waiting for the next unfortunate soul to seek them out. So ends the tale of Derrick the Dice. This is the first real piece of my own that I have made, so any comments and feedback would be gratefully appreciated. Coming next, we have The Horror at Red Hook by Lovecraft himself, where Detective Thomas Moore investigates a series of strange occurrences in Brooklyn, New York. Also, a combined version of all the videos from Thedunwichhorror will be released shortly. If you enjoyed the tale, it helps us if you let others know, so please click the like button. Subscribing will let you travel with us on future adventures, with the bell notifying you as we set off. If you want to join our intrepid band of explorers of the unknown, come visit us on Patreon. There we have a Discord server where you can share in the discussion about the stories told with both myself and the other members. You can even join the book club, coming soon. There will be behind the scenes content, early access content, and options to guide which stories are chosen as the membership grows. There are even tiers to get your own stories produced, and a free tier if you just want notifications and updates. YouTube memberships will follow when I have enough subscribers. Hopefully in the next month or so. If you subscribe, it will help. Let me know in the comments if there are any specific stories you would like to see portrayed in this format. I'm even open to suggestions as to how I can improve the content. I try and reply to every comment, so your input will not be ignored. See the description for details of the Patreon, our other social media pages, and for a link to Canje Studios to find out about Arkham horror related stories. Any resemblance between Derrick the Dice and its host are purely coincidental. Click here to hear about the Thedunwichhorror. Until next time, farewell. But remember, with every roll of the dice, you can win or lose. Just be sure you know what you are really rolling for.